Thanks. You stole a little of my thunder there with the intro. Thank you very much. That's great. So, as I said, my name is Peter Boyd, and we're looking to transform cardiac ultrasound with a product called Electrast, which is the first and only voltage-activated ultrasound imaging agent. And look, this is an important issue because it fills a gap in the current diagnostic landscape for the 18 million Americans with coronary artery disease. There's a lot of things that doctors can do quickly and cost effectively at the point of care: medical history, EKG, biomarkers, regular echo, stress testing. Those can rule patients in for coronary artery disease, but they'll rarely rule them out. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got specialty imaging, nuclear stress testing, CTA, MRI, diagnostic catheterization. Provides a lot more clinical information, but it takes time and money and exposes those patients to increased risk. And so what we're looking to do with Electrast is combine that comprehensive clinical data that the doctors need to make an accurate diagnosis with the benefits of a point-of-care testing option. And we do that with a comprehensive ultrasound-based evaluation. So with Electrast, doctors can better see the structure and function of the heart, and they can also gain information about perfusion. And it's done, as we said, quickly and cost-effectively at the point of care, and it doesn't expose patients to ionizing radiation or toxic dyes. So how do we do that? I'd like to focus you in the beginning on the echo panel in the middle. So what you're seeing there, those are the current contrast agents, and they're what we call always on. When the ventricle fills up with blood, it gets very bright. That actually makes it harder to see the heart muscle when you're trying to read the echo. On the left-hand side, you'll see a baseline echo without anything, especially down at the bottom. And then over on the right-hand side, you can see, these are in pigs, you can see an ultrasound with Electrast injected. And not only can you see that wall muscle much clearer, make out the in, but that increased brightness is related to perfusion. So how do we do that? The analogy we use is, think of a bottle of champagne. You know that there's gas inside that bottle of champagne, but you can't see it until you pop the top. And so what we do is we take liquid droplets of perfluorocarbon, perfluorobutene, which has a boiling point of -2 degrees C. We condense them down into the aqueous core inside the molecule. And when you have a liquid on ultrasound, it turns the activity off. So if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see at the bench relatively low activity. But then in the presence of an electric field, what you see is the shell reorients. And now water can escape from that center, and there's room for the perfluorocarbon to expand and transform from a liquid to a gas, and thus create that acoustic signal that you're seeing there. This is a representative example from one of our pig studies. On the left-hand side, you can see a cross-section of a pig's heart, and when we show this to cardiologists, they actually say that this is a relatively good baseline, better than what they'll see in a lot of their studies. But you can clearly see on the right-hand side that once we've injected Electrast, the image is much brighter and much clearer. And the cool thing about that is that increase in brightness can be measured and quantified, and it's related to perfusion. So as we move forward, as we show that this works in the clinic, you can now think about applying AI and quantifying myocardial perfusion quickly and cost effectively at the point of care. So when we spin this forward and we think about the market opportunity, if we use price points based on the current pricing for ultrasound imaging agents at about $100 a dose, there's over 11 million doctor's office visits here in the U.S. alone, cardiologist visits for coronary artery disease. Every one of those visits would benefit by having additional information from that echo. Then you have over 5 million patients presenting to the emergency department every year with shortness of breath and chest pain. This can be a great triage tool there. And then finally, down the road, when you're looking at stress testing, whether that's current nuclear stress testing or echo stress testing. Once we have an indication for that, there's another area where we can be used. And so as we think about the Electrast technology and the technology we have, we're initially focused entirely on imaging. And we'll start with an indication to selectively enhance the myocardium in suboptimal echo studies, because that will make the regulatory pathway significantly easier. And then we can work our way down, add additional indications, and work up to perfusion imaging. You can also replace the perfluorocarbon with other drugs and selectively deliver drugs to the heart, and our IP covers that. And then down the road, you can envision some therapeutic uses for this. But for today, right now, we're focused on the imaging aspect of this. 2020 was a tough year to be starting a company. I don't think that's a surprise to any of you guys. But we ended the year strong, and we're off to a good start here. I'm happy to report that our Series A round recently closed and was oversubscribed. We got the first patent in the Electrast patent family with broad composition of matter claims last month. The NIH has agreed to fund our $1.7 million direct to phase 2 SBIR. And we have large proof of principle data first in rats, subsequently in pigs, and now in dogs. We've scaled up manufacturing, and we're transferring it to a GMP partner so that we can get into the clinic later this year. Wouldn't be able to do this without a great team. I've been fortunate enough to work with my friend and mentor, Bill Nyland, across multiple companies that have been successful. Most recently, a company called Harpoon Medical that we were able to sell to Edwards Life Sciences in a little under 5 years for $250 million, generating 100% IRR for our investors based on the upfront payment. And we're obviously hopeful that we can do something similar to that again here with what we're working on at Sonnest. And so with that, I'll close by saying, with the change in the LSI timing, we're actually not raising money, which is a rarity. We just closed our A round. I believe in funding companies to value creation milestones. These funds will be used to get the technology into the clinic, recreate our early proof of principle data in humans, and then use that to go out and raise a Series B round, probably in the $8 to $12 million range, to bring the technologies back to the United States for the FDA regulatory process. And if we haven't been able to partner or exit based on that information, we'd look to do a $20 to $30 million round to support the pivotal study required to get FDA approval. And so with that, for any of the investors in the audience, love to get on your radar for early next year and go from there. Thank you very much.